every single click is where I play Hearts of Iron 4, like the olden days, where it's practically unedited. Now, it is still kind of edited. Usually it's about 3 hours you're looking at right now, shortened down to maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour. Because in Hearts of Iron 4, there is downtime we don't have a lot to talk about. Anyway, you guys voted. Trust you guys. I gave you democracy, and you must reward me with praise for giving you the right to vote. And you guys voted for Italy. I thought the Soviet Union would have had it, but no. You guys wanted to see the Axis as Italy, every single click treatment, a full game as Italy. So, you know what? I'll do that just for you. Single player, new game, 1936, Italy, Mussolini. Historical is on, Iron Man is off because I like to have fun. I don't like to be here sweating. And here is how we start out as Italy to min-max. Well, as much as possible. There will be lots of things I miss out on, but I want to have a fun experience for me. It's my fun as well as your fun. And hopefully you'll learn a lot from watching this video. Is there any elements that you'd like me to talk more about in a future video? Every single click? Please let me know in the comments below. I'll do my absolute best to comment about as many of them as possible, or the features you want to hear about. All right, so I'm going to F3 first of all, and select all my planes. And I'm going to right click into the C region and then press close air support. Now we can see which ones are fighters and which ones are bombers, because the bombers are the ones we want to send to Ethiopia, and we need to start bombing this region immediately. Same here, start bombing, and also air superiority. Now air superiority, which is the hotkey, and we can send these guys back home. Because remember, I only want the bombers in Ethiopia. We don't need the fighters. End of the day, we want to be bombing because Ethiopia doesn't have an air force. As far as I'm aware, anyway. No, I don't think they do. Anyway, army here, right click, Z, front line. We'll put you on aggressive, attack immediately. Same here, right click these boyos, right click, put them on aggressive, front line, attack, off you go. I want to make doubly sure that all of you guys initially push like this, because we want to try and break the capital of Ethiopia first, because the mountains and the rivers are quite difficult terrains to break. And if you notice some of these divisions have a low strength, please forgive my throat. It's a little bit sore because I've been recovering from COVID. Again. Too many COVIDs. Anyway, assign the general. Pick the guy with most attack. Don't forget to assign the field marshal for extra attack. I'm going to go for this gentleman. Make sure they're both attached underneath the general. And then back home, all the other divisions, we're going to shift left click here and assign them here and move them to this location. Because one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete you guys, and that frees up a few guns, and that will help me reinforce the guns in this region. If I want to too, what I can do is put all the excess divisions on this army, put it low priority, and this on high priority, meaning guns will be fed into this army first. There's just so many clicks to do as Italy early on because you've got the war against Ethiopia, and if you min-max it perfectly and cap Ethiopia before they go into exile, that'll save you a lot of stress. Anyway, basic machine tools. We're gonna go for construction. Once again, working on the industry. We really would like radio early on, but it's hard to get to due to the war in Ethiopia. And we're gonna focus on artillery. I'm just gonna try and play a little bit differently. I'm not gonna do my little space marines anymore. I'll probably mix it up a little bit and just play a little bit differently just to spice things up a little bit. Press 1 in the comments if you like spicy things. Anyhow, right, first off, 3 civilian factories, going to build more civs in these locations just to get the industry going, give it a bit of a boot. Next up, we've got 3 dockyards. So, do I want to make my classic heavy bathtubs? So, in short, bathtubs are the worst submarines you can buy. They're basically the most stripped down version. This would actually be a good example of it. That's it, that's a bathtub, this. And the way this would work is you make like 200, 300 of these, and they would project their naval power so you could do naval invasions. But Paradox nerfed that because they made manpower a bigger factor now on naval supremacy. So you have to go for a bigger hull for your ship. Like this one uses 5,200 manpower, therefore the more projection you get for the ship is significantly higher. So you'd make something like this. And this would be the cheapest possible battleship or battle cruiser that you can make, whilst also projecting the most manpower. And this would be really good for naval invasions. However, the combat capabilities of the ship are poor. And one of the issues you run into is Italy. Is your navy is pretty bad to begin with. You have a fairly large navy, but it's really out of date. So you kind of want to mix ships in that are going to kind of do the most overall damage. But then you have to research ships, and do I really want to do that? I don't know. I guess there's a part of me that wants to make a destroyer that's kind of the jack of all trades. You can do a little bit of everything. Should I do that just for something a bit different? Yeah, I probably should. Anyway, we're going to merge up the navy here. This is the easiest way of doing it. So F3 is your navy. F3? No, it's F2 actually. My hotkeys are on muscle memory now. I don't even know what they are. My fingers just go in that natural location. Anyway, shift left click all of your fleets. Right click to put them all in reserve. It'll ask you if you're sure. You say yes. Then you click on the reserve fleet, which selects them all, and then press G to merge them. And now they will all form a death stack navy. That's not meta, by the way. That's actually a really bad navy because that's not very good at fighting. You'll suffer from big penalties for being overly large and hard to command. However, it's the best for projected naval supremacy for naval invasions. All right, next up, we're lacking manpower for our garrison. So we're going to go local police force. And the beautiful thing about local police force is it reduces resistance. It also reduces damage to garrisons. It also makes the garrison smaller. So it's a win-win-win situation. And that's the best template to use because it's just horses. Next up, we're going to finish the ships that are partially constructed. The ones that are over 50%, we will finish those. As you can see, I'm just going to finish these up. And then I'll make more of an ideal destroyer. That'll just be like one of those multi-purpose style destroyers. Not very good for projecting naval supremacy because we already have a big navy anyway. But it'll just be a little bit better functionality for doing bombings and whatnot. In that case, we probably should focus just maybe a little bit on sonar just to detect submarines, but then I'm going to use naval bombers for that. Naval bombers have gone through a nerf recently. They used to be the perfect counter for submarines, but they just don't detect submarines as well as they used to hit them. Big nerf from Paradox. All right, get rid of the light tank. We're going to keep the 2 of you boyos. We're going to get a single train. We're also going to get a little bit of artillery. A small amount, and then the rest we're going to put onto guns. Focus tree. The most spicy parts of the focus tree are locked behind the war in Ethiopia before you can progress down here. So my advice for you is just take care of your factories and your industry by going for armed primacy. I'll give you 2 mils, definitely worth. All right, are we ready to unpause yet? Are we ready? Are we ready? Oof, I feel a bit tense about this, but let's go, boys. Let's do this. Same with this guy. I forgot to activate his battle plan. Activate, start pushing immediately, start doing damage. Now, it's super important that you position your planes just in the right place here. So here we go. The initial battle has begun, and we're pushing in immediately. It's muddy, it's mountains, there's a storm going on. This is so hard to push, but you just got to make the most of what you have. You initially make most of the breakthroughs in the south, I've noticed. So what I could do if I wanted to is bring a few more divisions from the mainland. Might be too little too late, but you know what? Let's do it anyway. The biggest issue you'll run into in the south is supply. It's just absolutely bad. Also, the thing to do in the north as well is select your northern army and double up on supply. And if you're doing good, you should just have enough trucks, just enough trucks to supply this region. And you can see we are breaking through and doing lots of nice damage. Just keep breaking through the whole front line. Keep pushing. Push, push, push. There's one of these moments where I look around the front line here and check everything we've got, and I realize, is there something I'm forgetting about? No, there isn't. That's the Air Force. That's the massive Navy. We are going to exercise the Navy just for a little while. I'll pop them here and exercise them just for a little while just to get a little bit of naval XP so we can make a more ideal destroyer. Okay, this event's really important. So you've got the option to basically take it nice and steady, to reduce supply, and basically go a very slow, methodical victory, or basically go ham. Of course, I'm going to go ham. Push harder than you've ever pushed before. Gives an attack bonus by 15%, which is huge, but you also lose a lot of your air support because the Ethiopians are more prepared for your offensive. Overall, you're still going to do lots of air damage anyway, so I don't want too much about that. I'm going to select this Air Force and press G to merge them. We'll have, and you can see the amount of damage we're doing now is really huge. I'm really happy with the amount of damage we're doing. But just keep pushing southwards, keep hitting them hard. Push, 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 push. You notice the south doesn't usually go as well. It's a little bit slower. Don't worry about it too much, but I just want to concentrate on this desert tile and push forward. Your key areas you want to capture is this one here and this one here, just to connect the supply lines. But if you manage to break this main mountain ranger, you've kind of won. You tend to find making a lot of the gains in the south as well. It's a bit of a mix of both. We're a little bit low on fuel right now, so we're just going to get the Soviet Union, or the Raj in this case, to give us fuel. Just basically, if you look in the trade here, I see convoys. You don't want to use your convoys, really. I mean, you do get them back when you end the trade deal, but overall, you kind of want to go for one that doesn't have convoy requirement. To be fair, they all have convoy requirement. We'll just import a bit of oil from the United States. So where we're using our fuel is with our fleet here. So I'm just going to stop exercising the fleet just for a moment, because I want to make sure that our planes are maxed of effectiveness, because I don't want to end up losing planes due to low fuel. I don't think it makes a big difference overall, but we'll see anyway. 35-day focus here to gain a bunch of naval dockyards. You know, why not? Oh, and it gives us a 25 XP too, so I don't even need to exercise the fleet. There we go. Learning new things as we go. All right, the newer boils have arrived and we're pushing in. And supply is actually not doing too bad. How do we do with the Sultanate of Assar? We're basically going to annex them. Keep a few divisions locked in place here, because when you do annex them, you want to move them over immediately. Oh, these guys are moving into the gaps in the front line. My goodness, that's genius. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Move the front line over, and off you go. Keep moving. Push, push, push. Organization first. Very important, because you don't have much reinforce rate, and that's going to give you a massive advantage when reinforcing into battle. Keep pushing. Push through the hills. Push through the deserts. And that guy is ill, which is devastating. Is that the best general we have? +2 attack? Wow, the Italians are rubbish. Like real life. Okay, keep going. Don't forget to hit space every now and then to pause. I like to go really fast speeds and slow down. Okay, so now we've noticed we're not doing as much damage in this region anymore. So it's kind of pointless, really. So what I'm going to do is grab 2 of the planes, pop them here, and start bombing in this region. Success in the north. Success! I'm going to push this one, grab this supply depot. As I said to you, that's an important one. Don't forget, guys might try and walk behind you. They will always do that. Now you've made a break in the front line, you're going to start to see gaps. Just push into the gaps. These guys are going to hold firm because they're in the mountains and the last standing. Don't worry about it. Just push around, wiggle around the front lines. You'll do just fine. I always like to deactivate the plan by holding control and then click it again just to activate the plan again. So I'm always nervous sometimes they're not doing any new plans, and that obviously can slow down your success. Success in the south, solid progress. Now we can start progressing the main political part of the focus tree. I think we're making good time here. Yep, this is looking really good, and we're kind of making an encirclement around Ethiopia, grabbing the mountains. You need to grab a few victory points, as well as their capital, and then eventually you'll be able to capitulate them. As you can see, I'm trying to snake around by holding shift and just grabbing all the extra victory points to knock them out. That's good. That's a lovely encirclement. Grab the capital too, and just go around the outside, and grab all the victory points. And 5-speed it now. Make sure to move your planes over, because we're going to be fighting in a different air region now. Whoop, off you go. And now the damage you're going to be doing is massive. Make sure to do more ground crews as well, because the range might be limited, but overall, if you just keep pushing, you do great. These guys aren't moving. Control B to rush them to the front line, so immediately get them into combat immediately. Attack, 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 attack. Oh, Messi has got the infantry expert. And once again, frontline gaps, just keep pushing into them. Push, 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 and GG. So, well done. If you succeeded, you've capped Ethiopia before they can go into exile. This is amazing, because that means you get significantly less resistance in Ethiopia, which is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of fuss. Boom, well done. Alternatively, you can drag out the Civil War to try and grind a little bit of army XP. It's completely up to you. Once again, you do you, okay? Okay, you do you. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I need at least 30 divisions, because I need to send volunteers to the Spanish Civil War. Is this something I care too much about? No, I need to send a few planes just to get a big bonus. I'm just going to deploy a few bits of cavalry. And once again, we're going to focus on resistance. So we're going to do local police force, which is just the best of both, in my opinion. It keeps the resistance low, it builds a decent amount of compliance, and it also reduces resistance and compliance. Did I not say that? I'm repeating myself. All right, silent workforce to stack political power. I believe it's 18 months, or it could be 2 years to pay back a silent workforce. I always lose track. Regardless, get it early, therefore it pays off in the long run. All right, we could do the main meat of the focus tree now. We want to do the new emperor of Ethiopia. The reason you do that is you create a puppet state in East Africa, and you can kind of ignore that area of the world and therefore not have to deal with it. Because to be fair, this area has nothing here that you really want. Tiny bit of steel, tiny bit of rubber. Once again, Paradox have not had any incentive for you to defend this region, and there's not really that many factories here either. So what's the point of defending it? There really isn't. So my advice is make it a puppet state, get out of there, and let the allies have that when the war starts. Or if you create a puppet state, you don't call them into the war, therefore you don't have to deal with that region. You know, you can build compliance there and gain maybe a little bit of manpower, but overall developing that region does not gain you a great deal, so I would not recommend it. Bring all the planes back now, and then we'll group them all back together again. All right, can we make our ideal destroyer? 25 XP. I can maximize AA. Kind of like the torpedo tubes too. But we kind of do need sonar on here to detect the submarines. I think this will do for now, and then we'll attach a Mayo as well. Escort fleet or raiding fleet? I think I want to do the escort fleet. Yeah, escort fleet is the one I want to do. And this design is now too expensive, so I need to exercise the fleet for a few days. Gain the right amount of XP. There we go. Now we're going to train or build a few destroyers. There we go. And that'll filter it nicely. Nice. I'm going to change the oil now for chromium, which we'll get from Turkey naturally. Turkish fans very happy about that. Maybe a little bit of steel as well. Once again, I want to keep the production going on ships. 50 political power gives us the army defense. Defense also gives breakthrough, so it is work on the offensive as well as the defensive. Don't be misled by just the defense number. It works for both. Why not both? Exactly. Next up, I want to go for range improvements. And we're going to go for... Oh my goodness, so many plane miles. Range focus aircraft designer. Interesting. Transport planes have extra production. Okay. I think we're just going to go for the naval aircraft designer. So the way it works is you invest funding into your Mayo, gives you more XP, which is what funding is. And then eventually you can upgrade it to give upgrades for your planes. They become more experienced at what they do. Triumph in Africa. One of the more annoying mechanics of Italy in Hearts of Iron 4 is there's a bunch of divisions you can't delete. So we don't need the militia. Oh, no, I kind of do. I kind of like that. What I'm going to do is change them all to stars. So that way we can see the divisions we can actually use and the ones we can't. There's a few decommissioned ones as well, which is kind of slightly annoying as well. Yeah, these ones. So star, star, and star. There we go. So now, if we make a big death stack of our troops, we can actually see the ones we can use and the ones we can't use. What I'm going to do is just select all the ones we can use. If you double click on a division, it selects all of that specific type. And we can break them away. Why can't we convert these? So my lot. Oh, there's one star here. Okay. And then convert them to my main infantry division. And then convert them to the infantry division. So now we have an army basically made up of the main attack force that has actual damage potential. And these divisions that are just insanely weak. You get to take advantage of a free agency. At the end of the day, a lot of these stats I never really even use. So just pick a random guy and then use him to resist the Ethiopians. Just to keep the resistance down just a little bit. We can use the spies for other stuff anyway. Anyway, this is the focus we really want. The new emperor of Ethiopia, which gives it some nice bonuses, which is great. But top it off as well, it allows us to make this into a puppet state, which means we don't have to deal with it anymore. Not our problem anymore. One thing we need to go for as well is a chief of the Air Force. Let's have a look who we got. Weather penalty reduction or just general XP. We'll go for general XP because we need to design a naval bomber, which is really important for Mediterranean warfare. Another spy! Is there anyone who reduces the damage from partisans? I don't think so. Anyway, if you look really closely, when you put the guy, it can affect where they reduce the garrisons by. So you can kind of optimize and min-max where you place them. I really like that, by the way. It lets you really strategically think about where you're going to place your dudes, which I think is a really cool thing. Anyway, deployed a bunch of horses here just so we've got a little bit slightly more army. And then we have the ability to send some volunteers. And do we bother 3? Yeah, why not? This unlocks an event which have the ability to access Spanish gold. It's just a little min-maxy thing to do. And we can send some planes to grind some air XP as well. Send the one boy, send him over. Close air support. If you don't notice this, I always use the hotkeys really quickly. And X is the hotkey to go close air support. But annoyingly, that's also the same hotkey to disable theater. So if I do X right now, it actually disables the air theater. So you plan all your air theaters really nice, but then if you accidentally hit X, you disable them. That's a bad hotkey. It's been around since donkey's years. Yes, I have moaned. I have complained. It's never been changed. Maybe when they introduce a hotkeys manager, that would make me very happy. Anyway, oh, apparently I'm wrong. So if you ever don't really know what focus you're going for and you can't find, just type it into here what you think it might be. But what I'm trying to form is like an East Africa. Ministry of Africa unlocks colonial management decisions. Okay, I've gone wrong here. All right, never mind. I thought it was the Emperor of Ethiopia, which is really good. But it does give compliance growth, which is kind of cool. So it kind of lets you not have to deal with your colonies as much. So I suppose that is something you would go for eventually. Anyway, I need to go for Ministry of Africa so I can make my big East African nation. Okay, we're going to change our operation a little bit now because we need significantly less guns and more artillery. And we might need to import a little bit of artillery for that. Yep, mix that all around. Yep. And there you go. Now we're producing our more ideal destroyer. We will upgrade it as we go, though. So I'm going to mark that as auto upgrade, just saving us a little bit of naval XP. Hey, the boys have arrived. Where do we level up here? I just don't care. But anyway, we're going to put them here and attack and just grind a general. With so few divisions, you don't get a lot of general XP. So I don't usually like doing that, but it isn't the most effective, but you can do it if you want to. Go for more war economy, gain access to more factories. All right, Mayo has upgraded and it's for the artillery. So extra soft attack makes it more expensive. Big guns, but I kind of like these ones because they give extra production efficiency. So we'll do those ones, queue them up. If you hold shift, you queue them up and you see the queue list here. So it'll just pick them basically what is available. So for instance, if this one isn't available because you've selected one too far down the tier list, it'll pick another one from the list based in the order that you've selected them. Breakthrough, reliability, and hard attack. There you go. I've queued them all up now. So that means I never need to visit that ever again. Range improvements. Okay, can we make a rubbish naval bomber? So we can put a torpedo on it. I feel like I'm going to put a really rubbish machine gun on it just for a little bit of defense. An OK engine. Then we put floats on it for extra detection. And also we put drop tanks on it for range. And then give it to the naval designer. And that's 13 XP. I want something that looks like a naval bomber, though. It'd be nice if there's an image with that had like a torpedo on the bottom. That'd be kind of cool, right? Do I need the big engine, though? Yes, I do. You want to keep the price down if you need to, if you can do. light torpedo mounting. There you go. And we're just going to put, was a bit of a bug this, classic 44 bug. If you ever find that the scroll breaks, you have to just delete a few, create a few production lines and delete a few production lines. And then it gets around that. Anyway, back to the naval bomber. That one. Naval bomber. And we assign 2 mils into that practically for the rest of the game. It'll just trickle amount of production. Very small amount of production. Okay, next up, passive sonar. Wow, I never realized how expensive that is. Research speed bonus minus 11%. Is that really a bonus though? It makes me wonder if I should just go beeline towards radar. More advanced radars do have submarine detection, but it's nowhere near as much as radar though. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to go for that. We've got no choice. As you can see, the initial production is practically rubbish, but as time goes on, you get more production efficiency, which will produce maybe 3 or 4 a month. It all adds up. Ministry of Africa. As you can see now, we're working on our industry, just trying to build it up before the war. Same old. Standard strats for Ethiopia. And what's standard strats for every nation that doesn't go to war until later on anyway. When it comes to the balance of power for Mussolini, you want to be on this one here. You can see consolidates the power of the deuce, which gives political power, stability, and war support. But when you get to the next one here, dictatorial authority, you start to lose army XP over time. I just don't recommend this. It's nice to have the political power, but you're trading your XPs from your army for political power. And I just don't think that's a good trade-off, unless it's super late game and you max out all your doctrines. But even then, I don't think that'd be worth it. Colonial police. No, I don't want colonial police. Disband the regulars. It costs political power to disband the regulars. You know, in a weird way, it does make sense, doesn't it? Because if you're a dictator, you've got to kind of balance the power between your nation. If you show you don't have support for a certain arm of the military, then of course that would upset that military. Then it would upset your ability to rule. Anyway, here we go. Establish the African Ordinance Italiano. Boom. And now we don't have to worry about this rubbish anymore. But this can cause unrest problems, but hopefully they can take care of their own issues. There are buttons you can press here to send them manpower and guns, but I wouldn't ever recommend it. Close this and forget about it. Easy. All right. Now we get into the real meat of the focus tree. Press 1 in the chat if you enjoy meat. And the one we're going to go for now, I think we're going to devalue the lira, actually. It's only 35 days and reduces your consumer goods, stuff so you can produce small factories. I think that's always a win. Italy has so many abilities to reduce your consumer goods. It's just absolutely insane. Hey, the first naval bombers. Exercise them to level 3. This is just a pet peeve of mine, but I don't think that looks like a naval bomber. Maybe go for the silver ones or ocean colored. Yeah, that looks good to me. Once again, improve your Mayos. These ones for basic guns. I think these ones really pay off in the long run. This one's really strong. Soft attack and reliability. But then you've got the ability to do more damage, but less production efficiency. Yeah, why not? Queue them all up. You just choose between quality or quantity. That's the only choice here. Quality gives you more soft attack and breakthrough, where quantity gives you more guns. All right, the meat of the focus tree. We're back to this again. Foreign affairs. This allows us to take chunks out of Yugoslavia and just gives us a little bit more breathing space in the Balkans. We've got XP now, so my advice to you is replace this with recon, and we don't have recon. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. You do not have access to recon as Italy. Scouting the battlefield? Nope, Italians never heard of that. Reached the point now where I want to make just a few more mills just to diversify my armed forces as well as my industry. So you to the top. Oh, that's a lot though. Okay, maybe just make it a few more and then switch out to the mills. Yeah, that looks good. Regardless, I need to make more artillery on this division anyway. Artillery, basically a classic 7-2. Save that up and we'll be behind on artillery. No surprises there. So we just tweak this just ever so slightly. Realize the destroyers are bumping out pretty quick now. We can upgrade it, which gives a tiny bit more depth charge power and sub-detection. Yeah, I'll take that. All right, foreign affairs. Balkan ambitions. Giving loads of claims and ultimatum ability against Yugoslavia. Okay, don't declare on Yugoslavia early because they're guaranteed by France. That's going to cause a lot of problems. You can min-max by attacking France early and capping a bunch of nations and taking out Romania as well if you wanted to. However, I would not recommend it because that's just going to cause a lot of problems. Kind of playing a semi-historical path as Italy and not doing super crazy early wars and craziness. We'll try and play as historical as possible. Why? Because it's fun, all right? I'm just having fun, all right? Let me have fun. But Dave, you could play this way and it'd be more optimal. Yeah, but I want to have fun. So what I just did there is upgraded my destroyer and changed it to the one that had slightly better stats. So just switch them out as they finish the last destroyer that's finished off and rolled out and just add it on. I'm really happy with this destroyer, by the way. I just feel like it's just a mix of everything. When I add sonar onto it and start upgrading the torpedoes and the depth charges, it'll be way more effective. Someone's probably going to ask me, are you going to try and refit them? And no, I never do refit. I just don't think it's ever worth your time. Balkan ambition. And then we can do all the beamery. Now, this is mixed. Random things might happen here. So just a heads up. Welcome to RNG heaven. All right. You're gonna go here, put them here. And then I'm gonna basically request Dalmatia from the Yugoslavs. Boom. I'm also gonna add on sonar and also upgrade the model as well. Costs 10 naval XP. Are you joking me? Anyway, exercise our fleet once again just to give him a little naval XP. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And they've accepted our demands anyway. So I can make a big front line now and be like, you know what? In future, maybe I might want a chunk of Yugoslavia. So we're going really soft attack heavy here. So rushing the artillery is probably going to be a good idea. Improving the depth charges is a possibility too. But then overall, the torpedoes are probably going to be worth more while. Where are the torpedoes? Oh, they're here. Yeah. 18 attack, 24 attack, increases the hit chance. I have to do it, don't I? Torpedoes are where all the damage is at, so I have to do that. As you realize, is Italy, you've got lots of research that needs to be done because you need to catch up with the rest of the world. However, you've got lots of penalties holding you back, so you need to kind of rush anything that gives you extra research. Trains and railways. Okay, I think the only research slot we've got is this one here. Research slot. I think it's this one, which we need to focus on industry anyway, and these ones are pretty good because they give reductions to consumer goods. Oh no, it seems we are trapped inside of the anarchists, and yes, we are well and truly stuck. End of the day, you only really need one division to be able to do this. And that looks things, we're not going to even have one division. Going to focus on anti-air too, because otherwise we're not going to have enough attack potential. We could try and diversify into tanks a little bit later on, but I think we'll just focus on artillery for now. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to import just a tiny little bit of rubber, because two things happen. When you don't have enough resources, you take a initial production hit, but also you gain less production efficiency over time, and that can hurt your overall production. So it's a short-term loss and kind of a long-term loss as well. We can upgrade our destroyers again. More minesweeping. Man, this might upgrade really quickly. Okay, so Edison investments, then the extra research slot. Once again, doing all the stuff that we really need. It's amazing, Italy, because it's like a nation that's always seen as behind in World War II. Oh, that's the event I wanted. Political power for reduction in consumer goods, a definite W. Yeah, it's a nation you always see traditionally as behind in World War II, but as you can see in this instance, they're doing pretty much okay. Okay, it is tempting to rush disperse because you do run out of building slots in your most key states. As you noticed with Italy, you've got like these areas here with this highway. This is where all your industry lies. But then like the backbone here in the north, as well as the south, it just doesn't have the infrastructure. So you tend to build really quickly in the key states. But then you fill up all the building slots, so you've got nothing else to work with. So one thing that Paradox added, I've forgotten about, is they added upgrades for torpedoes. So your initial torpedo, if you hover over here, it says naval attack 12 and targeting 4. So it's like accuracy. Then it doubles the accuracy to 8. And then the final one, the advanced air launch torpedo, has targeted of 10. So potential hit chance is very, very, very high. Something we want to invest into later on that. So I'm going to mark this as upgrade potential. Hey, we have a 4-way. The Carlists have arrived too, which gives a lot of breathing space for the Republicans. We reached a point that we've researched all the key stuff that we need. It makes me question, you know, like what should I be focusing on? No, we need recon, so we'll do that now. Recon's great because it gives an attack bonus, soft attack bonus for your artillery, which of course is going to pay off heavily in the long run. Bigger torpedoes, and with that we can also add bigger depth charges. Oh, do we go for the bigger sonar? Yeah, we do the bigger sonar. And immediately you have the option to upgrade your ships. I'll be doing this a lot, by the way. It's one of the reasons why messing around with ships is kind of a little bit fiddly, because you constantly have so many upgrades. You constantly keep having to introduce new models. Okay, done, upgraded, sonar, job's a good one. All right, we've got a lot of political power, so let's spend it. We've got this guy, the Jewish banker, and you're probably thinking, Dave, what the hell? Why'd you just say that? No, this is literally what it is. Because when you side with the Axis, and of course, with the German Reich's plans, you actually lose this banker. You see, this removes advisor. I know, he is literally what you say he is. But he's amazing, so my advice is get him as early as you can and take advantage of the consumer goods reduction. Also, another good one is Prince of Terror, because you have got a lot of garrisons, but I'm not really even taking advantage of much of that. It'll be something I'm going to have to come back to later on. Some like good options as well. I tell you, Italy is such a good focus tree. There's like so many cool options. I think we'll go for the war industrialist. So we're in a position now we can take out the Yugoslavians. So what I'm going to do is exercise my boys, get them to level 3, most of the artillery infantry that is, and then send the ultimatum to Yugoslavia. That either makes them a puppet of yours, which is awesome, or you annex them. Well, no, they refuse, and you can annex them basically in a war. So we'll do that one now before the game progresses too much. Be aware, there's a weird bug at the minute that if you do get them as a puppet, they can have like a civil war internally between them. the monarchist faction, and the new puppet state that you'll get later on. So just an FYI. All right, make some then queue up some civs. We're going to need some anti-air, so we'll get a little bit of that. And don't forget to assign the Mayo as well. Always something I forget about. Recon is done, which gives us a huge amount of support equipment back. Because look, he uses 30 support equipment per engineer. Change this over. He only requires 10, so we get a refund. And plus we get an extra bonus for soft attack. We do lose a bunch of other stats, though. Save. I feel like a child at Christmas. We've got the research slot now, so that was the most important thing. But at this point, it's like, just do whatever you need. Factories are worth it. The African stuff, I don't think is worth. However, there's a bunch of cool options to build your army up, which is always so cool too, because your army is behind. If you look at your national spirits, they're pretty bad. There we go. Military industry. So fixing that one's usually worthwhile. I actually don't know how you fix that one. Let me look that one up. Military industry. Military. Strengthen the military industry. Is that something you permanently got to deal with? So you're always behind? No way. And there's me thinking, you've got it pretty good. Is Italy? No. Your navy, your air force, and your army are rubbish. We'll go for this one because it gives a little bit extra naval dockyards. And I want to focus a little bit more on my navy on this game. Because, well, I don't usually. Today I do. Train a bit more infantry. A bit behind on the artillery, but we'll catch up. Active sonar has been upgraded. So once again, we can upgrade the submarines. Once again, go for more better torpedoes. Start working on just the basic passive bonuses for attack now. Both soft attack and breakthrough. So you need to be at war with a major power before you start getting rid of some of the doctrine penalties. I think that's where the military industry works as well. Oh, there we go. Military industry changes the armor amounts. Interesting. But we need to fix our army anyway, so we have to do these ones. Decided I'm going to need more naval bombers than I originally envisioned, so I'm just going to put a little bit more into there, so when the war kicks off, we do have more of them to work with. Reduce consumer goods? Of course. Surprisingly, trading with Yugoslavia, a nation that we're about to attack. Can we do that now? Send the ultimatum? They're not guaranteed by anyone. They are exercising the front lines. And army leaders, reduce that penalty for armed forces. Put them on aggressive. Are they going to stop exercising? If they say no, I'm going to declare war immediately. And then these armies are going to get absolutely steamrolled because they're all low org. And they submit. And we now have a puppet state of Yugoslavia. I believe we can get all their chromium too. We don't actually need chromium. We just needed it for the ships at the start of the game, so we don't need it now. That's sad. Oh well. Okay, this is the plan. So we're going to put the crappy militia here that I really don't care about, just to hold this front line. But then we're going to focus on our main attack force, which is going to go here. And you know what the purpose of this is. Actually, we want to make a field marshal front line. So click the field marshal. Hold shift left click to make the front line, and X and right click. There we go. I'm going to delete that front line there. Hopefully we won't have supply problems. We are actually having a few, actually. Maybe we want to fix the railways here, and this might just give us a little bit extra supply in this region. We are deploying a few more divisions here. Hopefully we'll have enough supply. And don't forget the AA, very important. Otherwise you're going to run into so many issues when it comes down to air power. Wow, it's Christmas. We've got so much research all done in one go. Work on the guns, improve torpedo attack capabilities with the escort fleet. I think we're going to start working ahead of time when it comes down to our industry. Improve the artillery, and we have a new ship on the block. Once again, it's a big hot debate. Do you try and refit your old ships? Is it really worth it? Let's see an example. So we'll select one of our old destroyers. Is it going to be worth it to refit it? There's one here. We have the option to refit it. It's going to cost 247 production, and it will take 7 days. Do you know what? That actually isn't too bad. But there's so many variants. This one would take 12 days. Do you know what? These aren't actually that bad. Oh, no. And this one would take 12 days too. And 7 days. Do you know what? I'm so tempted. The biggest concern is that am I currently working on something right now that's going to improve it later on? No, we're not. So this is actually the perfect time to upgrade. You know what? I said that I don't usually do this, but today's opposite day. I'm going to put all of these boyos in to be refitted. So all the Mark IIs. Mark II. And use the escort fleet. And then look at this list. Wow. So what I'm going to do is just say finish these ones and then start working on... Actually, what I do is I drag it to the bottom, put it on unlimited. Now, that one needs to finish anyway because we're not making the model anymore anyway. And then drag you to the bottom. So just to understand what I've just done here is I've queued up these to be refitted, and you can see that they're almost done. They just need naval dockyards assigned to them. But when these ones finish, which they've only got one left, they will then automatically assign naval dockyards to the ones on top. So working from top to bottom and then start progressing through all the repairs. So what it's doing is it's upgrading the modules from some of our old torpedoes to the newer torpedoes, to potentially to do a lot more damage. Well, hopefully anyway. This one's kind of cool. 35 days. It adds 3 fuel silos and also makes fuel reduction for 3 years go down. You know, I really like that. You know, it's just so different. And because it increases supply usage for 3 years, that's just so big, it's really worth. So you can see this guy's about to finish now. Boom. And then we can see we're upgrading the ones at the top, and it'll be complete on the 8th of April. So that's amazing. We're upgrading them so quick too. Now you could improve the upgrade speed if you went for this guy. See this? Refitting 25% faster. Do you know what? That's really effective. And I realize I've not selected a Chief of the Navy too. That's a big mistake by me. I'm gonna have to go for decisive battle because it gives bonuses to attack. There you go. Look at all the fuel capabilities now. Before it was 100,000, now it's 555,000. The difference is huge. You can see the upgrades are going through pretty quick now. Every week or so, we do at least 2 ships. You can see them one by one completed, and the list getting shorter. It's really hard though to understand how quick the list is shuffling down. So it's like at the bottom, like roughly how long until this one's completed? I just don't know, because it doesn't give you an estimate until you've got a few naval dockyards assigned. But you can only upgrade the same chassis. You can't replace the whole hull. You're just replacing the bits on the ship. So of course a Mark III destroyer hull can't be upgraded from a Mark II. Is that kind of obvious? I don't know. But we're just covering that anyway. Okay, Sneaky Strats 101. Grab one of your submarines, just the one, and then move it to the coastline. And you can normally see on the coastline if they've got troops stationed in that location. Has this been patched? No, you can. It is doable. So you can see that there's no troops based in Malta. So, of course, you know what I want to do, right? Yeah. We just select one division, obviously one of the more rubbish ones, and do a naval invasion on day 1 to yoink it. And I suppose you can do the same as well for Cyprus, and I guess we could do Corsica. Corsica's difficult to take though, because they usually station a lot more troops there. That becomes a little bit more difficult. Ah, balls, just give it a go. Why not? You miss all the shots you don't take. I'm training some militia. Oh, I don't like they've got engineers on. That really annoys me. I don't really want the engineers, so I'll just make some horses. I just want these just to fill out the front line, just to defend here. Maybe I'll do another naval invasion here to try and land more troops. I don't know. I'm not decided. Bunch of advisors, definitely worthwhile. Infantry expert is a biggie. Army regrouping, it's debatable. Not always the best, but... And also logistics can be useful as well. Sadly, the AA 8%. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that one as well. Always pays off in the long run, but going for the branch independent spirit's really good. I've gone for it way too late, but the earlier you get it, the more air XP you get. It all adds up in the long run. Okay, we're going to deploy these horses now. 2, 1, deploy. I'm going to add them on to this guy's army. And once again, I'm going to deploy as much excess of these as I can. Now, front line's going to be here, obviously. But then, can I attach more onto here? Only 3. There's 4 divisions here too. Okay, this has not worked how I thought it would work. Can I unassign everyone? Yeah. You guys go here. You guys go here. 1 division here. Yep. And then, let me guess, everyone else goes here. There you go. I can only have a maximum of 8 divisions doing 1 simultaneous naval invasion. That's why I need to optimize that as best as I can. So I'm working through the air techs here, and I try and get rid of some of the negative national spirits that I've got. It looks like I'm limited because I need to get this super marina, which I need to be at war with the major power before I can get. So you kind of are limited how much damage you can do initially as Italy. You kind of need to be at war with a major, go for the focuses in question, then you can build up your armed forces to actually do something. You're kind of artificially held from behind before you can do anything. I don't usually do this, but what I'm going to do is left click on naval exercise just to level them up to level 3. This will give us a bit of naval XP too, which is always going to be worth it. I want to train my guys up to level 3 to get the maximum bonuses, and some of the naval bonuses make a big difference in active combat. Look at the naval damage and naval defense you get just from being at level 3, so it's definitely worth it. Also, there are a bunch of passive bonuses here that are really worth. Like all these ones that just give extra piercing and heavy attack and light attack. These ones are just win-win. I mean, it's a bit like these bonuses here for your infantry. You don't have to spend any extra production or technology. You just get them for free as passive bonuses. And also the fire control methods are really good too. However, they're a bit expensive and it's better to spend naval XP to get them cheaper. However, right now, I've got nothing else to research. Do I? No, I could probably work on my production. It looks like it's only the destroyers and some of the subs. So what I'm just going to do is break off the ones that need to be exercised. That way I don't have to burn a ridiculous amount of fuel to train them. I don't really care about Albania, but I've got the option here to occupy them. And if I don't do it, I'll lose some political power. So I want to do it. So just do the focus. 35 days. Why not? Albania yields. Mission accomplished. The easiest political power that I've ever gained. The reason I'm not really for occupying them is the resources they've got is not very high, and I have to actively hold this region, which I really don't want to do. It don't matter now. Based on my playstyle at the minute, I probably would go for positioning because it's just an all-rounder. However, close combat right now looks really good. Screen attack, which I've got lots of good screens, and also torpedo penetration, which I've got a lot of torpedoes, so that's a win. Okay, so what I've done, which I'm not really sure if it was going to work, that's why I didn't talk about it, is I wanted to bank lots of fuel. Because I've got a very high fuel capacity, I can bank fuel and then use it whilst at war, not have to worry too much about importing. And I just import basically loads from the Soviet Union, and now I've just turned it off. So now I've got lots of fuel ready for the war. And then when the war does kick off, I'll be, well, hopefully more prepared. I hate defending the Mediterranean. I really hate it because you got to do so many things like hold this port, defend from here, do a naval invasion. If these naval invasions fail, they're really difficult to pull off later on. You could use paratroopers, I suppose, too. For now, I'm trying to make the most of the limited research that I do have. So, not a lot to do here. Just waiting, building up, waiting for the 1st of September, and then just pretty much going from there, really. What's the best thing to do is to join the Axis immediately. We can do that now, actually. And when they're at war, we can declare on a major, because they usually don't accept your call to arms, but sometimes it varies sometimes, because sometimes they do accept your call to arms. It's a bit random like that. But in that circumstance, then you could join the war and then execute your naval invasions. You kind of want to do them as soon as you can, though, but sometimes it's not always possible. Also, with the Navy, you want to go strike force and cover the entirety of the Mediterranean, just to deny their ability to do naval invasions against you because your naval supremacy is so chunk. Part of me that wants to make the standard infantry division larger. Something like this. We got the equipment for that. Whenever you change your equipment, just have a little look at if you've got enough in surplus. And yeah, we have. So I'll probably add another one as well. But don't forget, when you upgrade them, make the division bigger, it means they're going to lose some of their XP. So you need to exercise them to level 3 again. But we're thinking, man, Dave, you've got a lot of political power. There's not a lot to spend it on, to be honest with you. Railway construction, sure. We're going to go ground battle plan, I suppose, but we're probably also going to spend our air XP too, so we'll do that. Then we'll do more air, and then we focus on naval bombers. So naval bombing tech is this one. So ground support, naval invasion tech, agility. And then at that point, we're not going to use that one again for a while because we've got the bonus we wanted. So now we can switch on to ground battle plan. And then I suppose we spend our XP. So the biggest issue you're going to run into is defending and holding on to Africa. You know, for the most part, there's not a lot of point holding Africa. Once again, resource-wise, well, none in Libya. The big however, though, is that you will lose some of your balance and power. It will tick in the other direction. Is that something you care about? I don't know. I'm trying to play in a way that I'm finding fun and enjoyable, okay? You play the way you want to. But the problem you're going to run into is they're going to convoy raid the Mediterranean. And it's going to run into problems. And they could naval invade you as well, so that's also an issue. You remember, when the Italians lost Africa, they also found themselves exposed to the south, so just be aware of that. When it comes to naval doctrines too, we want to try and boost our destroyers as much as possible. Then again, we also want to boost our main fleet as well. It's a tough one. Danzig, or war, and the Poles say... Nope. They didn't even get the pop-up to say they said no. Will they let us join the war? No, they never do. So this is where you wait for the majors to declare. They've joined the allies. That's good. Then the allies will declare what? There we go. Then we can justify on France. Once again, they're still not let us join. That's why we have to do it manually. Stop exercising. Everyone's in position. Activate the battle plans. Do we really want to push here? Probably not initially. Now we need the planes in position because we need to start naval striking this region because the submarines are going to give us an absolute pain. Air superiority, naval strike. And more air crews. Keep working on the tech. We'll go for extensive conscription, even though we don't really need it, but we might need it later on. Train more infantry. It's always good to have reserves, right? And at this point, too, we need to phase away from making more civvies because we need to make mills now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't need the political power guy anymore. Realize I can invest into another spy. Really should have put the spies into France a lot earlier, but here we go. Now we're not going to select a focus because we need to take advantage of these ones that need to be at war with a major power. Poland's fallen. Justification for us at 75%. Looking good. Justification is complete. Declare war. Okay. Need to spend a little bit of attention here and see what the best moves are. So initially, naval invasion activated. Naval invasion activated? No, he's not going because we don't have enough naval projection here. Malta's really important too. And are we leaving here? No, we're not. It looks like the naval invasion is activating for Corsica, but nowhere else. And we're pushing against the front line here. We'll accept that land lease. Trying to land here. It's a bit of a struggle. Only one of the provinces is empty. If we're lucky, we might be able to just push into one of them when we've actually landed. I'm going to push over the strait now just to pin them in place. Aegean Sea naval invasion. They're grabbing my islands as well. So we don't even have enough naval to deny their ability to take land from us. And the big fleets arrive now, and it is a royal rumble between the two big fleets, and it looks like they're running away, so it looks like we do have the advantage. Look at the amount of destroyers, 112, but then the French fleet's arrived, and now we're running away. It usually is not a good sign overall, but hopefully we want to minimize losses. We don't want to lose too many. It will temporarily knock out our fleet for a very short duration, but we can hopefully repair it pretty quickly. Oh, we've taken Corsica. Wow, I didn't think that was going to be the case. That's insanely lucky. Oh, one of the three has been taken out. This is incredibly intense because there's like so much happening at once, but luckily we managed to push them out of Corsica. That's a really good move by us. However, unfortunately, it's knocked out our navy as well. Let's look at the damage. So we lost 20 convoys there. Is that it? Okay, no, we can actually see the full losses here. No, hang on. We didn't actually lose any ships. We just lost convoys. And I think those were from the naval invasion that was just attempted. But luckily, we're going to push them out of Corsica. So that's a little victory. Also making a bit of push through the Alps in the west here. That's good. And you can see now our naval bombers are starting to do damage in the central Mediterranean. And you can see they're intercepting our convoy routes, hence the reason we're going to have problems with supply around this point. This is one of those instances I probably would be better off with Marines. Yeah, I'm going to need Marines. You can't get around it. The Mediterranean, you need Marines. And the final Corsican troops getting pushed out. Okay, first losses at sea here, losing 5 destroyers and 1 submarine. Doing their best to intercept, but there's just so many allied. So once again, you start naval bombing here, and we're doing a decent job at that, taking out those submarines, therefore relieving the supply routes around this region. And make sure you queue up as many of your dockyards on repairs as possible. You're going to have a lot of repairs that are going to need doing. It's also a good idea to move your fleet to where the naval base is the biggest. Like, for instance, here's 2 of 8. And there's also right here a 10. You want to move them here, therefore take advantage of the most possible repairs. Okay, training these reserves is not worthwhile because we need guns and we need manpower right now, so we need to focus on that immediately. Take a few off the planes, start doing upgrades to make sure we focus on the more quality versus quantity. I think we need to put our ships away for now because we've taken some heavy losses. And once again, it's better just to repair up than losing your entire fleet. Pushing through the Alps is a little bit slow. It's usually kind of a good idea to naval invade around the back and use a bit of air support, but I'm trying to focus on preserving my fleet. You've got to divide yourself up and prioritize the most important parts of your armed forces. And Paris is gone. And we gained a little bit of Savoy. Was it worth? I don't know. Anyway, naval invasion time. Oh, they're getting Vichy France off me. Okay, interesting. But then we have to go back here. There's so many things you have to focus on. I feel like playing Germany is so much easier. I don't know why the tutorial nation is Italy, because I feel like with this, I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now because there's so many things you have to focus on. But once again, if you want to be simple, you don't really need to defend the islands or Africa. You can just give it up if you wanted to. But I just wanted to do something fun and a little bit different. However, I think the bombing we're doing in this region is going really well, and we're knocking out a lot of submarines, which is always going to be the problem. But once again, our fleet is never going to be big enough and strong enough to take out the British and the French Navy. But luckily, the French Navy now is out of action. Maybe that's the way you have to play it, potentially. Maybe the strategy of Italy is to kind of wait. Kind of is what you would think, though, wouldn't it? Because you need to get rid of the modifiers, too. Yeah, we're learning as we go, guys. Don't forget, Hoi 4, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do. Min-maxing strategy is sometimes difficult. In this case, we're noticing that probably waiting for these is probably the way forward. These ones that get rid of the negative modifiers that you've got stacked on top of you as Italy. And also kind of waiting before you attack is probably really worth it as well. So I don't know, there's a lot to learn with this game. So what I'm doing now is I broke off a bunch of troops here just to hold on to Sardinia, because I know this is an exposed spot that's really difficult to retake. Don't like you guys going by sea. Is that the only route you can go? I think they're kind of stuck. We're going to ask for access. And we can't get access, so they're kind of just stuck. Can we go here, though? Will they get intercepted? No, good. So I'm going to start garrisoning now in just key areas I think they're probably going to land on. It's usually hard to determine where and when, but I'm just going to put them and spread them out and tell them specifically to only defend ports. So this is area defense, and specifically saying defend. Actually, for Albania, it can be all of it. First capital ship lost. It's a coastal defense ship, and then a bunch of older destroyers. Once again, another bunch of destroyers. Destroyers, sadly, are kind of the damage sponge of your fleet, but you're better off losing a destroyer than losing a capital ship. That's the way I see it. And you can see I'm focusing on the repairs too. Fixing all those destroyers and all those capital ships to be ship shape. There's an option here to reduce the production cost of screening ships. I can't say no to that. Yeah, we got to do that. Okay, import a little bit of rubber from Vichy. Gonna try and finish off this line of ships because we've just recently had an upgrade. I think they're better torpedoes again. So make another 3 lines of those. And then when these finish their production, move on to these ones. Going to focus on logistics because supply is always something you need to focus on all late game. So you have a naval invasion here. Now, this is a really difficult location for them to hold. So what I'm just going to do is hold here. And then, ooh, they might get Benghazi. Yeah, they have. That sucks. We might have to pull a few troops off from the north just to hold this location. But that means we have to move troops over. That might leave us in a bit of a tricky spot as well. Okay, cancel this naval invasion. Go here, here, and here. You guys need to be positioned in this location. Drawing a fallback line if you've not noticed. Hard to draw a fallback line over a really tight bend. I'm going to build a few forts here. Same here. I'm going to build a few forts here. And hopefully just hold on to these little avenues here. Just before reinforcements arrive, we can push the Brits out. And all of a sudden, the Germans have arrived. The urge to want to help them out now and grab Benghazi. If we grab Benghazi, all these troops that have naval invader are stuck. Yeah, still a bit of a difficult push, though. The supply is just too bad. I'll let them do their own thing. Naval invasion. And luckily, we've got enough troops stationed here, so we should be able to repel them. Nah, with ease. With absolute ease. Boys doing a really good job here naval invading in this region. I'm really happy with what they're doing, and they're taking out a lot of submarines, so that's good. Also hitting this location hard too. So if potentially we can move them here and start hitting this location, yeah, we can take out some more submarines. One by one by one. You can see the strat we've gone for here. We've tried our absolute best to just pin in the locations with a port and land that's nearby. So just to secure and lock down that region. And they're kind of stranded in this island in the middle of Libya. They've got one port here, and we could take that port out. We're going to be winning, but otherwise, we're just going to have to hold out for the time being. Okay, what we're going to do, which was an old strat, I'm not sure if it still works, but submarines are so slow, they're better off being independent wolf packs. If I were to align this with a submarine guy, no, we don't have a submarine guy, and then try and convoy raid here, we can deny Malta and also deny Libya. Don't care too heavily about losing my... Their fighting capabilities are a bit more limited. The only downside of losing them is I'm losing a bit of naval projection. But then again, we are hitting convoys. Belgium's. And then again, maybe not. So maybe I should be convoy raiding in the exact same location that I'm doing naval strikes so they can cover each other. Potentially is the issue. Once again, holding Sardinia is really important. It's the bridge between east and west of the Mediterranean. Plus, there's a big airport here, which really does come in handy. All right, Marines. Artillery. We're going to go for like a classic 7-2. And that's all I can afford for now. How many of those can we make? 6. Awesome. I think what I want to do is I want to lock down the central Mediterranean, because that is where we're going to deny them access to Libya. So naval strike, hit here, more air crews. We've got the right officer corps. Simultaneously, we're going to naval raid in this region too. Unfortunately, we're losing a few more subs here. And then simultaneously, at the most here, put the fleet in Sardinia, the big death stack, and then also strike force. Mediterranean, and they're going in there immediately. But they think they can win. They won't activate their plans unless they think they can win. And right now, oh, look at the damage they're dealing. No, that is a straight up W. Straight up win. And the battle was here. This one? For some reason, I can't see this battle, but I can see the one underneath it. Naval battle. We lost a few planes, but they lost 2 light cruisers, 8 destroyers, 4 convoys. Oh, that's definitely a win. And then once again, this battle's happening over and over and over again, and we're in a good position to defend ourselves. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is still focus more on the passive bonuses. I forgot about bracket shooting, and really need to take care of that now. And also the passive bonuses for the destroyers. Yep. Oh, look at the damage there. This is going so well. So now I think we should have been in a position where we control the central Mediterranean Sea, and then we can yoink Malta for the Italians. Once again, another interception here. We've got big capital ships. It is looking like we're doing some mighty fine damage. And lost a light cruiser and 20 destroyers. You don't usually focus too much on the Navy, but that's the reason kind of why I wanted to hold on to Africa, because I kind of wanted to make this a theater to actually care about. Oh, that's some good damage. But at the same time, don't forget about your repairs. And as you can see, we're breaking off all the destroyers so we can repair them. Oh, a naval invasion happening here, and our fleet is engaging. And are they arriving or are they leaving? Oh, they're leaving. We've taken a bit of damage there as well. Once again, you've got to take breaks every now and then. Just realize that sometimes you're not always going to win every single battle, and sometimes you just need to take a breather. Yeah, we lost a few of our destroyers. They're mainly old models though, so not a massive loss. Naval XP, you know what that's good for? Special forces. We've got pioneers now. Pioneer bonus, marines, cheaper marines. Ooh, that's going to come in handy. So now, not going to forget about our naval doctrines as well. And at the same time, we're going to put everyone on repair for now. While we repair up, and therefore prepare to control the central Mediterranean again. So now we're working away at some of our military penalties, so we've gone for this. And I believe the next one is this. There's lots of special forces bonuses here. Stuff that I wasn't even aware of. Oh, well, I guess we take advantage of that. I know we need this one because we need to fix our armed forces, specifically our Air Force. So that is a lot better than it once was. And the Navy's, well, that's the Air Force, that's a mess. And the Navy's a lot better than it once was. Meanwhile, the AI is doing a mighty fine job of clearing up Africa. All right, I think the fleet needs to have a little bit of exercise, and off we go. I think what we're struggling with here, I think this fleet is too big, but then if the fleet's too small, they're not going to be confident enough to engage. So is it going to be worth it? I don't know. So they've got more capital ships on our side, but we've got way more torpedoes on our side. And then once again, immediately when we arrive, they choose to retreat. And we're ripping apart their destroyers. Once you knock out the screens, eventually the battleships will come next. I too strong. Clear up Libya for me. Nice. And now we can add on Pioneers and AA. And a few more Marines. Super cheap to add on because they're half price. Yep. And then plan a naval invasion of Malta because that was the job they were born to do. Okay, do a squeeze on Benghazi. Push from the north and the south. Beating the tank. Beating the infantry. The encirclement has been formed. Whoosh! And finally the Brits have been ejected. Get out of here. Here we go. Libya's free. Fight another day. Oh, and our fleet is engaged and they're taking a beating again. And rinse and repeat, eh? I'm going to engage, disengage here, but it's too little too late. We've actually lost a lot of ships there. 13 destroyers, 2 cruisers, and a bunch of heavier ships. Once again, rinse and repeat. Back to port, back to repair. We just need to win the production war, I guess. Yep, and another naval invasion. The Brits just keep on coming. One concern that always Italy runs into is you have a big air zone, and I'm worried that sometimes that I might get bombed really heavily. So I think I'm going to invest into making some decent interceptors. And with that in mind, I'm going to need cannons. And they naval invade, and they are stranded because there's no naval base here. That'd be kind of cool if the AI, when they landed, they did build a naval base, though. You know, like a bit of a D-Day thing. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? No? Well, it does seem evident that the spamming naval bomber strategy no longer works. Yeah, it just no longer works. I saw that icon there, and I was like, Polish carrier? What? It was like, oh, no, it's a British carrier. Okay. I think this is the 4th or 5th naval invasion Britain's tried to do of Sardinia. So just an FYI, you might want to defend Sardinia because the AI just loves to attack it over and over again. Okay, enemy fleet is distracted here. Do we do strike force and just try and pull off a naval invasion of Malta? Do we do it? And, oh, they're actually going. I'm terrified, but I'm also excited. And they have a lot of divisions here, so this is going to be difficult to land. But we're doing some pretty decent damage. And we've got air support too. I think this is actually doable. And this is big, because this means it denies their ability to repair their ships in this region. And it also denies them their ability to get air superiority in this region too. So this area is pretty much ours, and we are just completely dumpstering their fleet too. And now we're running away. Oh, easy come, easy go. I question sometimes if we should be more aggressive and engage at more high-risk situations. So I feel like we're pulling out a little bit too aggressively sometimes. Was it worth it to take Malta, though? Losing 18 destroyers, 2 light cruisers. Is that the previous battle, though? I think it was worth. All right, I'm going to bring the big lads now. I think we need to secure the Suez. I don't know where these came from, but I've got these really awful bicycle divisions here. Yeah, let's pretend I didn't see that. Tour of Italy has been delayed permanently. 42 days. Can we take Cyprus? Oh, I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to disable repairs. Strike force. Go. Is it doable? Because it's risky. And here goes the naval invasion. Can't get as much air support this time, but we don't even need it. Oh my god, what a steal. Wow, I love Marines now. What a turnaround. Anyway, regardless. Push through the north all the way, then we can encircle them in the south. The squeeze is on. Leave a division behind as you go. Just one by one by one. Push, push, push. You don't want them to creep behind you because that will be a disaster. And again. And one left behind. Oh my goodness. And then we can push for Cairo. And at the same time, I guess we close the pocket, I guess. Will there be enough troops to close it, though? That's the question. It does look like it is enough. And that's a jolly good encirclement just by sweeping through the desert. The Battle of El Alamein was a success. Who needs Rommel anyway? Rommel who? Exactly. Reached the point that I've got so many civilian production, I don't know what to assign it, and I'm kind of a bit annoyed having to go back and forth, so I just queued up loads of them so I don't have to go back to that over and over again. And we've got the option to go for the most advanced torpedoes, so I'm going to try and do that and beeline towards them. But I also need a bigger engine because therefore I've not got enough thrust to equip those bigger torpedoes. It's always going to be a concern. going to just try and push over the Suez, because if you get stuck over this side of it, it causes a lot of problems. So I'm just going to try and push and keep going. Yeah, and I broke it. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Get Tel Aviv. And that means I secure this side. Yep, done. See, now with the big engine, I might as well research the most up-to-date one. I can put the big faggot engine on, upgrade everything. Medium torpedoes. Can you equip 2 kinds of torpedo? No, you can't. And this will be the latest model. Good. Nothing really matters now, because the naval battles have already been done now. It's all over. Well, mostly. I suppose the only passage now, because we control Cairo and Cyprus and Malta. The only other area they can get ships in is through Gibraltar. Oh, I forgot about Rhodes. Is it Rhodes? Yeah, it is Rhodes, yeah. I guess plan another naval invasion. Yeah. Oh, is that all connected? I think that's all connected. We're just cruising through Africa now. The spy that's got captured, so just immediately put in an operation to save them. Definitely need logistics, something I've forgotten about. We got the supply for that, and we got the motorized for that. Yeah, we do. All good. Naval invasion again. Once again denied. So the only place they could do that naval invasion is from here. Okay. Naval invasion support. Naval invasion. Here we go. Shore bombardment. 25%. Nice. And we just absolutely dumpster them. Oh, they're not connected. I didn't realize that. I guess we can just drop maybe 2 off. Naval invasion. Go here. And this will take 14 days. Good. I know we maxed out doctrines for our Marines now. Some Marines are pretty supercharged. And we're just plowing through Africa here. Do I bring in the East Africa? Yeah, might as well at this point. And the final naval invasion. 2 Marine divisions versus 3 British divisions. And they're getting absolutely crushed. The shore bombardment is massive. And that's it. The Mediterranean is secured. Can I launch a naval invasion, though, to grab the Suez? From this side, I actually can. So I might as well, right? Germany's probably feeling very confident right now with a very competent Italy, so they're going for their Barbarossa. And the Marines landing into Gibraltar. Ooh, they're actually struggling. There's just so many divisions here, and they're really deeply entrenched. I've never been able to take Gibraltar when it's heavily entrenched. Never. And today is no exception to that rule. Only thing I could probably do is just make the Marine division bigger. Where we're landing is into hills, so combat width is 70, so 35 is most optimal to do that. And there we go, 35. We'll add on logistics and RT and reconnaissance, so it's basically we fully fitted out with all mod cons and everything. What an investment. So many years of the East African Italy, and I've decided, you know what, I don't want to hold this front line. It's just desert, it's a wasteland, there's nothing going on. Which is no different from the very start of the game, so no change there, right? It's an interesting mission. Increase fuel reserves. And I got it, and then I instantly completed it. Oh, those fuel reserves, they're definitely full now. All right, 6 Marines, the best of the best. With full naval invasion support. These big lads. 35 combat width, optimized with all the support added on. Can they break Gibraltar? The Mediterranean secured. Can it be done? No, it cannot. Yeah, always Gibraltar has been an absolute nightmare to break. You just can't naval invade it. It's just a fortress. The only way you can get it is if you get a lot of cash within this region and hit it. But the problem is that until Vichy France joins the war, I'm kind of a bit stuck. So the only reason I'm having to do this, it just avoids me having to go through the whole of Africa to bring my navy into, well, mainland Europe and the Atlantic Ocean. Ideally, I'd like to avoid that, but it doesn't look like I've got any other option, really. Naval invasion. I'm on it. Do you realize oh wow, it's going to eat so many convoys doing that. Okay, this is going to be planned in advance anyway. All right, the entirety of the fleet has to go through the entirety of the world. See, look at the route it takes. Yep, that's around the entirety of Africa before they can get there. Leaving the Mediterranean can be a bit painful, especially if you start getting convoy raided there, so gotta be careful. Demand the Balearic Islands. And you know what? That's actually really strong because that gives us access to an airport that's closer to Gibraltar. Then we can start doing bombings. Ooh. And we get the Balearic Islands. And we're going to build a big airport there. Italian Yugoslavia seeks a queen. A wedding sounds like a nice idea. Where is this going? And the fleet is here. Will it be enough naval supremacy, though, to actually do damage? What I probably need to do to begin with is just soften it up with some of my air. Let's move into Europe. Go here. Deploy all the excess. Exercise the boys. If you project enough air superiority, you get a bonus to your naval supremacy, which enhances your ability to do naval invasions. Is that going to be doable in this instance? I just don't know. All right, Marines. Going to be a super special Marine. Super Marine, you could call it, by adding that on. 1 less artillery. Yes. Alrighty then. The naval invasion is planned. 46%. Oh, it's doable. It is actually doable. Confidence is just gone through the roof. Off they go. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. We were already having high naval supremacy anyway, and it's just pushed it over the edge. I wonder if with the damage we did to the French and British fleet in the Med, it's actually boosted Germany. And here they go. Are they going to defend their coastlines? Evidently not. Grab the ports. Go, go, go. Beeline to them. No Americans that I can see. Good. Aggressive. Go, go, go. Battle plan. Go, go, go. We just have to hold shift and make long, snaky paths to the front line. Looks like the troops are actually arriving now, though, so this could cause a traffic jam, but we'll see. The fall of London. Get the planes in here. The supply is doing really well. I'm so impressed. Usually you get bottlenecks here, but no, it's not happening. That's a nice encirclement. And we're about to grab Hull. Hull is usually the point where you know that Britain has fallen and there's no way they're going to turn around, because once again, you control a different sea zone, so supply could just wrap around the back. Yeah, this is just a straight up win. Wow. And we could even get a commando guy, can we? Commando? Requires commando. Oh, okay. He's working on it. And there you go. We've got Hull. Damn. Win. Ouch. And we control the majority of the UK too. Just doesn't get any better than this, does it? Does it? Does it? So, from this point on, you need to knock out America. And right now, United States is the only major power. So, what you could do is go for cruiser submarines. Is it here? Oh, here we go. Cruiser submarines. And they've got absolutely awesome range, so what you could do is snake all the way to America. But America is very, very, very strong right now. So that would be incredibly good. You'd land, and then you're just going to need to spam lots of CAS. Because I'm not planned so far ahead for that eventuality of evading the United States, I personally don't want to do it. But I think I've showed you enough clicks here to get you a basic idea. There's lots of mistakes I've made in this video. Lots of things you could refine and make a lot better. Personally, I think the naval bombers were a massive waste of production and research. I just don't feel like they're much of an impact overall. In the olden days, Navs used to counter submarines really well, but they've nerfed it to the ground, so it's not even that viable. If you want a super min-max, you ignore Africa, and you just maybe strike force all the way around you and hold the coastlines, and then help out Germany along the way. However, it was kind of fun to make this style destroyer, though. This was really fun for me. So it's basically a multi-purpose destroyer that can just do a little bit of everything. One thing I forgot to check on is the most advanced Mayo in my nation is this escort fleet. And we could select a policy. I've never looked at the naval policies before, so funds is useless. Production needs can be useful in some instances. Reliability is not very good. Research bonus is not very good. Minus 5% production costs. That's okay, I guess. You want to play catch up with the naval game. Max range 25%. That feels massive. Wow, that feels really OP. Okay. Light battery hit chance 10%. That could be useful. The Great Sea King's weather penalty minus 50%. What? Basically ignores weather. Interesting. And this one, coastal battle fleet reduces cost by 10%, reduces max range. Well, that's clearly the winner, guys. Honestly, this is good. 10% reduction of production costs and just lose a bit of range. I guess you just got to hug the coastline, I guess. But overall, this means you can pump out ships at unbelievable lightning speed. If I was to go for this one now, it would reduce the production cost from 1,364 to 1,240. Honestly, hand on heart, that is a straight up win. Pumping out ships is the hardest part because you like the numbers. And the production time is so unbelievably high, so it just becomes difficult long term. So overall, that would actually reduce the cost astronomically. There's one thing I want to do: naval invasion of you. I would also say the defending coastlines in this video I've been very flaky with. Just leaving behind like 2 divisions, one next to the port and one to the right of it, maybe with a few forts on the side, is really effective at denying the AI. The AI doesn't make effective marine divisions, so you can usually catch them out there. Bomber Boyo. Show us the bombing potential. 3 bomb locks. Need an unbelievable large amount of rubber that doesn't even exist. No, tell a lie. Nope. Our good buddy Japan could sort us out. Presume they're doing well in the Pacific if they've got access to rubber. And they really are. They're sucking against China. They're kicking ass everywhere else. Very unpredictable Japan. Here we go. Navy's back after traveling across the entirety of the planet. And the final battle. CAS, do your damage. CAS, max shore bombardment, maximum marines. And the result... Yeah, there we go. They can't pierce the armor as well. I went with a standard tank at the end. I'm sorry, guys. I know you hate when I do this, but... Oh, really? Oh, that's really frustrating. You can't reinforce quick enough, so actually was denied. Well, it looked like we're actually winning, but then all of a sudden, not so much. Yeah. Anyway, this was the tank I went with. Standard soft attack stacking for a Space Marine style infantry AA. So to be fair, I didn't even need the AA on this. I guess you would go for something like this. Get that off. End of the day, I might as well just send 4 of them, if only a few can land anyway. Add citations. Attack. Attack. All right, the final push. Now with extra artillery and 40 combat width. Is it enough? Can you break them? It looks like... no. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We just encircled a division. Another one. Ah, I was so close. Why do you do this to me? I feel like I'm committed now. You know, like mentally committed. I feel like I want to actually do this. More CAS. Another chance. They've got more troops this time. It never ends. God, the defense is so high and the attack's so high too. We do need to knock out. We knock out like 1 or 2 divisions per landing. This is like a recurring issue that happens with naval invasions. The first 2 land, but these 2 in reserve never get into battle because they can't, because the gap's never big enough. Well, it's anticlimactic because that was kind of like my little mini goal that I wanted to do. But overall, this is pretty much a min-maxi style, kind of historical Italy if Mussolini did everything right. Hey guys, this has been a long video. It took a long time to put together. If you want to show your appreciation, like and subscribe, and YouTube will feed you more of this kind of content if that's what you're into. And let me know in the comments of any nations I could play, or any game mechanics you'd like me to explore, look into, or any kind of potential improvements for the videos. I'm always looking to make my videos better, so please comment below if that's the case. If you enjoyed this video, see this one on screen right now, this one, give this one a click. This might be the video that is right for you. Give it a click. I'll see you soon, boys. Bye bye.